stocks, and we're taking a look at Microsoft. That is our morning trade. So the company in the headlines today, even though it's still clocking in a win today, has an up arrow slightly. A cyber attack report, a server software attack. Marley Kayden has more of the details. Marley, good morning.
Morning, Nicole. Yeah, like you said, Microsoft in the green today, but this following a weekend where they had to issue an urgent security alert after uncovering that there were cyber attacks in their SharePoint servers. Now, it's important to note this only affecting companies that use physical servers. It did not affect SharePoint in the online cloud system, which is Microsoft 365. But hackers were hacking into what cybersecurity experts estimate more than 10,000 different businesses. That includes universities, energy companies, federal and state agencies, telecommunications firm, and launching spoofing attacks inside the SharePoint systems in what they're calling a zero-day attack, meaning it exploited an issue that Microsoft wasn't aware of until the attack itself was discovered. Now, Microsoft has released a new security patch to mitigate those active attacks and says that it's coordinating closely with the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, DoD Cyber Defense Command, and key cybersecurity partners globally, because this is not just a domestic attack, as well as the FBI. But the full nature of this attack has not yet been disclosed. The FBI says it's still probing the impact of the attack itself. And this is likely going to put Microsoft under the microscope again, following that 2023 breach of its Exchange online mailboxes that led the White House at the time to declare that Microsoft's security culture was, quote unquote, inadequate. So they are working to patch this. They've asked all clients with these physical servers to take them offline until they put that new security patch in place. But as you mentioned, the market's not responding really negatively to this. They are just slightly over the flat line in the green this morning, Nicole.
Yeah, I think also because it seems to be somewhat contained and only a certain part, and didn't escalate to uncertainty. It seems to be very clear. I mean, even this morning, Barclays maintained an overweight with a 550 target after this name already hit a record of 514 on Friday.
Yeah, they did. They gave them, the price target increase up to 550. Interesting timing, though. Executives had indicated last month that they were about to release their new AI Copilot tool to a very large customer with more than 1 million contracts for Microsoft 365. That indicated to most of the street and most analysts that it was likely the Pentagon. So it will be interesting to see if that rollout still happens. That also in conjunction with Alphabet's Google saying that it was going to lower its pricing for government contracts, as well as Oracle. So it's a more competitive field out there. And while the street isn't responding to the mistake, it will be interesting to see how clients respond to it.
And last but not least, I'm seeing a slew of names for this week. We're ready for a lot of names to watch. Thoughts on earnings?
I think everybody's just looking for guidance at this point, particularly from the Mag 7 reporters we're going to see this week, trying to see what potential tariff impacts might be included, trying to see what we're guiding for the second half of the year. I think most of the focus is not on the results for Q2, but more on what the rest of the year might look like, Nicole.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow we have Coca-Cola, Chubb, GM, IBM, Tesla, Intel, folks. I mean, Honeywell, we're going to be swarmed. Google and Tesla, I made sure to mention those. Okay, Marley Kayden, thank you so much. Great to see you. Good talk there about Microsoft today. Now, Charles Moon is with us, stock strategist, Prosper Trading Academy, and he has an example trade here for us. Now, of course, Microsoft shareholders are pretty happy here when they saw their stock hit a record high last week, and over, let's say, 3 months, it's up 40%.
Yeah, so, Microsoft has been extremely bullish here in the near term. And, with the news today, I expected more of a negative impact, especially from shareholders looking to take profits. Usually when stocks are at these levels, anything, especially in relation to the markets, causes investors to try and take profits off the table. The last time we had news very similar to this, it was a very negative impact on Microsoft in a short period of time. So, what I was looking at today was the Microsoft August 1st 490 strike put at 475 or lower. The stop is going to be defined at $2. But if this trade does work out, we should actually be able to hit a target of around $12 or higher. Now, the thought process here is that there's got to be 2 breakdown points. $505 and $500. Because once it gets under $500, there's a lot of room for the stock price to run to the downside before it comes to another key reference point. Now, in the short term, Microsoft has been extremely bullish. So this is a very contrarian type of view on the opportunity. And it was more of a play on the news, but so far we haven't seen any really downward movement since the open.
Okay, so thank you for that. We appreciate it. How about the market action overall?
Yeah, the overall markets here, it's really been on a low volume grind up. And that's usually what happens when we're trading in these types of environments, the all-time highs. You just don't have enough buyers to really blow off the top, so to speak, but just enough buyers to continue to rise up. The trend's so strong that there's not really too many contrarian traders out there that are willing to try and fade the overall markets. And so we're kind of in this slow move up until, the market reacts. And usually it's a negative reaction to the news feed. We're still dealing with a lot of the tariff news out there, of course, and with earnings season coming up, guidance is going to be really important because, whatever the overall effective results are going to be, they're not accounting for the upcoming tariffs that are really going to be, kicking in August 1st. And so we got to see how companies are, at least viewing in the near term, the next quarter or the next 2 quarters, what potential impacts they may have from these tariffs. So it's going to be pretty interesting over these next 2 weeks. Obviously big tech could just report strong, guide strong, and just blow off the top and just keep this rally going. But, if there's any shakiness from the Mag 7, that's where we got to be really, really concerned that we're going to start seeing the floor move a little bit lower here. And we see that progressive down move versus up move.
Thank you for that big picture. I mean, I was looking at Alphabet, Google today, which has been on a tear. It's up 9 days in a row. Its longest winning streak since April of 2019. So certainly there's been a lot of optimism. We've seen the records. We're going to hear from the company this week. It's about 8.5% off its high. So that'll be definitely a name I'm watching for sure. Thank you for all of that. Charles Moon, Prosper Trading Academy. Great to see you. Thank you.